Hello and welcome to SweetSpotDFS. I have a course fit show for you for the 2021 RSM Classic. Now, what I cover in this type of show, usually go over the tournament fact sheets that the GCSAA provides us, go through a course preview to see if any shot shape really matters. I'm going to actually do something a little bit different for this tournament, and I think going forward too, because I actually have this data now, looking at everyone's home region and where they went to college to see, where they're playing golf and if it's anywhere near where the tournament is being held. We'll look at course history. We'll also look at grass stats, and I'll pretty much cap it off with my best course fit plays. So let's go ahead and get into this. I was going to say get in the spreadsheet, but we're going to go ahead and go to the tournament fact sheet. So you can find this at gcsaa.org. The tournament fact sheets are at the bottom of the website, and they give you some pretty decent amounts of data. Now, they are sometimes wrong, and we found that out with the Houston Open. So the Houston Open, they had said it was a par 71, when in fact it was a par 70. And that information must have been fed from somewhere. So sometimes these are wrong. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. However, I think this one is fine. We see this year in, year out. The RSM Classic will be playing at 2 golf courses at Sea Island Resort, which is in Simons Island, Georgia. I had that wrong in my preview. I said it was in South Carolina, and I don't even remember if I had the exact resort correct or the correct city. Anyways, the 2 courses at the Sea Island Resort, the Seaside course, and then the Plantation course. So we get to go through both of them here. We'll go through a little quick. Par 70 at the Seaside course. They're going to be playing this course 3 times for those that make the cut. Thursday, Friday, they're going to alternate between this one and the Plantation course. So everyone's going to have an opportunity to play it at least once. However, those that make the cut will only be playing the Seaside course on Saturday and Sunday. It is a par 70, 35-35, both pars, 7,000, basically 7,000 yards on the button for yardage. However, when I mapped this out, I noticed they could go anywhere from like 6,900 to 7,200. So they, depending on whatever tee boxes they want to use, they can really stretch out this course. So it's going to be around 7,000 yards. Stimp is actually going to be running pretty fast. 12.5 is pretty quick. That's like Masters speed. Actually, maybe a little faster than Masters speed. Now, Masters greens can be pretty fast, and I say Masters, really Augusta. Augusta greens can be pretty fast because of the undulation. I don't really think these greens are that undulating. The little bit that I got to see of both of the golf courses, I didn't really notice anything from, basically the resort site and the PGA site, even trying to do a little satellite imagery. I didn't see anything, crazy with these greens. So those are fast greens, and fast greens usually mitigate bad putting. So keep that in mind. Green size, 7,200 square feet. That's pretty large, especially for a par 70. You can read the water, how many water hazards, how many holes that have water in play. It's quite a few. And quite a few, I mean a lot. 13 holes where water is in play. It's going to put a premium on accuracy. However, like the driving areas are very small. I shouldn't say small, but you really don't have to hit driver off any of these tees. So if the wind isn't howling, that's a good thing that I just said. I forgot to mention this. A lot of how well a golfer plays is going to be determined on wind. Obviously, that's week in, week out, but here more so because it's right on the coast of Georgia. So you really have to take that into account. It is known to blow here pretty hard. But I have not looked at a weather forecast, which I should have, but I just forgot to. But yeah, I don't think I mean, some of these holes that I actually looked at, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to show to you guys, but you can obviously see these online. Water really doesn't creep into play as much as one would think. You know, a lot of holes I see like a marsh area or a little creek that's either to the left or the right of the fairway, and it's a good ways away from the fairway. Now that's all relative, but still, I don't think there's really any trouble finding the, like, I should say trouble finding the water. I don't think a lot of golfers are going to find the water unless they're really far offline. So just want to mention that because that's what I saw. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you guys right now. But yeah, water might be an issue. Probably won't be. Bermuda grass on the greens. This is going to be at both golf courses. Tiff Eagle here at the Seaside golf course, and you can see paspalum and Bermuda grass in fairways and, well, fairways, tees, and rough. I was listening to someone talk about this is a Fazio renovation. Yes, it certainly is, but what Fazio is known for are greens from that tilt back to front, where you want to miss always on the front side of the bunker, or on the front side of the green, not the back side of the green. Back to front green. So the back side's higher than the front side. Let's go down to the Plantation course. This one's going to be a par 72 around that 7,000 yardage mark. But I think this one also can be, you know, altered 6,900 to 7,200 as well. Stimp here, 11.5 to 12.5. So that's nearly a foot less than the Seaside course, which is kind of weird because the golfers are going to be playing these two courses Thursday, Friday. You're going to get used to one speed and then come to this golf course and kind of get used to this. You know, obviously these guys are good and they're probably going to be able to do that, but it is very weird. Average green size here, 6,000. So that's kind of a little bit on the small side, not extremely small, but this is smaller than average. 10 holes where water is in play, which is, you know, between the two golf courses, it's a good amount of water in play. We also have Tiff Eagle Bermuda grass here on the greens, as well as paspalum in the tees and fairways, and then the rough still stays with the Bermuda grass. Renovation was done last year with Davis Love III. There is a video on YouTube about the changes he made. I have to say, I did not watch it. I know it's there. I saw it, but I didn't click on it. I'll leave that to you guys. I personally don't care. I got to see the course layout, and that's what I'm going to show you now, is looking at the course, you know, breakdown. I'm not going to go hole by hole. I'll let you guys read this. So this is your opportunity to pause the video and take a screenshot or whatever you want to do. You guys can read what I have in here, but essentially with both of the golf courses, you really don't have trees that require you to shape a shot. So we really, like the dog legs that we do have, there is definitely a way to hit over the dog leg, which is going to be just rough. So you don't have to worry about tree trouble necessarily. Sure, there are trees on this course and you can find yourself behind them, but trees will not dictate shot shapes here. Maybe one or two holes per course, but that's about it. And shot shape isn't going to matter. That's the other thing. One of the big things that I do, I will look at the layout of a hole from tee to green, and from the tee, if I see you do want to shape a shot, in my mind, it's all about sight lines, and you want to be able to visualize your shot. So those that fade the golf ball, who need to draw it, are going to feel a little bit more uncomfortable. Likewise, the same thing happens for anything that fades where draw golfers get up to. But we don't really have anything off the tee that is prevalent. And honestly, we don't really have anything into the green that, I primarily look for some sharp angles. Like if we have a bunker to the front right or back left, or we have a pin that will be basically tucked behind, some area of trouble. These greens are pretty simple. We really don't have pins that are sucker pins. Nothing really can get tucked behind a bunker. Nothing really can get tucked behind water. It's a pretty straightforward golf course. The one thing that I will mention when it comes to wind, now, you've heard me during these course previews talk about, if in doubt, always select golfers who fade the golf ball. There's more control. In the wind is a different story. In the wind, now, the reason I want fade golfers most of the time, there's more backspin that comes with a fade golf ball. So anything that's fading off the tee already has more backspin than, say, a draw. And, well, side spin's going to be dependent on how much of a fade, how much of a draw. But either way, fade comes with a little bit of backspin, a little bit more backspin than a draw does. In that scenario, in that case, the wind is going to hit it a little bit harder. So really kind of thinking about draw golfers is going to be a little bit more important, just off the premise of wind. That's all I'm getting at. Wind or draws pierce through the wind a little bit better than fades do. Not saying you can't hit a piercing fade golf ball, because obviously that is a doable thing. We see DJ doing it all the time. There are a lot of good videos out there that show that kind of thing. It's really your ascent angle into the golf ball with how much backspin you provide and launch angle, basically. A lot of scientific things go into it. But my rule of thumb for wind, always target those that draw the golf ball. I shouldn't say always, but if there is something that you're weighing a golfer on and it's between a fade golfer and a draw golfer, I would definitely choose the draw golfer. Here is the Plantation course. So there are a few more holes where draws and fades are more important. And how I actually determine this is, if there is one pin position out of the 4, and at the Plantation course, there's only going to be one pin position. There's not going to be 4 like there will be, well, even at the Seaside course, there's only going to be 3, because everyone has to see the same pin position for Thursday and Friday, since they're going to be a different group of golfers. And then Saturday, Sunday, we'll have different pins at the Seaside. But at the Plantation, we're only going to see one. And if that's the case, really any approach into a green where there is a tucked pin or there is trouble lurking, if there's a particular shot shape that has more of an advantage, that is what I put down here. So you can see there's a bunch of draws and fades for approach shots, much more than the Seaside course. And then really just one fade, one draw off the tee. You can see the final numbers here. It's pretty even. And I don't necessarily care what shot shape is being used. A lot of it is going to be determined on wind. So if there is a lot of wind, then I guess I can go ahead and put on my third monitor. What is this place called again? I already forgot it off the top of my head. Simon's Island, Georgia. Okay. So I'm just going to look up the wind really quickly. Simon. Looking at the 10-day forecast. Let's throw it up here. So this is just averages, 14, 12, 14, 11. That's nothing at all to worry about. So I guess then I would then default to fade golfers. So that's going to cover the course breakdown. Let's go ahead and get into course history. So course history I have up. It's filtered out by golfers who are playing this week, minus 2 golfers, Sam Burns and Brian Gay. So Sam Burns and Brian Gay withdrew today on Tuesday, but I do not have that updated and I don't see them, so I don't think it really matters. You have a bunch of golfers up here at the top of course history, a few 10th place finishes, including Will Gordon last year, Alex Noren as well. Last year, they've both finished 10th. Kevin Stadler finished 10th in 2014. I'm not really going to care too much about that. Matthew Naismith, 14th last year. And then we kind of get into now more of a sample size for these golfers. David Hearn has the best course history in the field that has more than one event under his belt, and that's 22.20. So he has a 30th, a 15th, a 17th, a 9th, and a 40th. All averages out to be 22.2. Then we have Austin Cook, who won this tournament in 2018, but then finished 61st last year. So that kind of hurts his average. If we take that 61 away, he averages 6th place. Now he's coming in with pretty decent form. Course history is going to be, I'd say combining his potential to do well here with his recent form, he's going to be a favorite play. Like he's a good play, I should say that. Kevin Kisner missed the cut last year, and that's not a foreign thing for him at this tournament. He also missed the cut in 2017. But if we take those missed cuts out, he has an average finishing position of 7.2. And that is over 5 events. He has 4 top 10s, which is pretty amazing. Underneath that's Webb. And the only reason Webb doesn't have a better course history here is because he withdrew in 2018. I like to count withdraws and DQs primarily because you are intending to play that golfer, and as he starts the tournament, that means he's locked in your lineup. If he withdraws or DQs, it hurts you. So I have to put that in here. But if we take that out, 17.80, which is pretty good. His last 2 finishes, really good, 2nd and 3rd. And then a few more down here. You have Corey Connors, 2 events, 30th place average finishing position. Hank Lebioda, 31 or 31st. That's a 30th and a 32nd finishing positions in 2020 and 2019. Graham McDowell has good course history here. Not really coming in with the best form, but a veteran who is a good wind player. But I don't know if we're going to see a lot of wind. Tyler Duncan came in with a win last year. Minus that, though, 49.50 is his average finishing position. 25th would have been his best finish prior to his win last year. I'm not expecting good things from Tyler Duncan this week, but it is worth mentioning. Lucas Glover would be next, right next to Fabian Gomez, CT Pan, and Chris Kirk. So that rounds off your top 20 when it comes to course history. Now, a new segment that I want to include is going to be, let me go ahead and put a freeze on this and then hide this information. So we actually have, the names here, their salary value. I currently have it sorted by the sweet spot rank, which we'll get to in the next video. But I want to go over the region where someone is living, where one of these golfers is living, to try to get, maybe in, combination with course history or even grass stats, which golfer might have a slight edge based off of where he lives or where he went to school. So let's go ahead. Now, I basically broke up anyone who's living in the United States into 5 regions: Pacific, Rockies, Southwest, Southeast, Northeast, and Midwest. So 6 actual regions. And obviously we're in Georgia, so we're going to be looking at the Southeast region. And that's what I'm going to clear this all out with. And just look at the Southeast. How many golfers are in this field that are from the Southeast? And it's 71. I believe it's 71. Sorry, 72. 72 golfers in this field who call home somewhere in the Southeast. Now, who actually calls home in Georgia? That's going to be 17 golfers who call home in Georgia. And they are on the screen right now. I'll actually name them off for my audio listeners. Brian Harmon, Harris English, Sepp Straka, Patton Kazire, Zach Johnson, Chris Kirk, Henrik Norlander, Stuart Sink, Matt Kuchar, Luke List, JT Poston, Vaughn Taylor, Keith Mitchell, Hudson Swafford, Jonathan Bird, Davis Thompson, and Brendan Todd. Davis Thompson is a young guy. He's 22 years old. You can see that right on the screen. Oh, I might be in the way. He is 22 years old, and he says he's played this golf course nearly 50 times in this last year. This is a course that I think he calls home. I'm not sure if I actually heard that, but he said during COVID he played this course a lot. So, like during the little break. Which means at $6,300, a young up-and-coming guy, I think he also played in the U.S. Open. He made the cut, I want to say. He played this tournament last year, finished 23rd. $6,300 is going to be pretty good, especially for a golfer who calls Georgia home, who calls the Southeast home. He went to school at Georgia, again in the Southeast. So actually, why don't we just go by college state as well? These are Georgia guys living in Georgia who went to school in Georgia. You can see all of them on the screen right now. We have a group of 12. So let's go ahead and just take Georgia out of here and just look at Southeast golfers or living in the Southeast, not named Georgia. Why don't we just go ahead and kick Georgia out? We have a bunch. We have 55 golfers that we would say, this is not Southeast, this is Midwest. I don't know why I must have thought it was North Carolina. Sorry, Mr. Hoagie, you are out. Okay, so we have a bunch of, there we go. There's a lot of golfers, and a lot of golfers that call Florida home. Man, I really don't know. I don't know if I really want to go through all of these golfers. No, I don't think so. There's too many to read off. Those that are watching, you're going to get the benefit of actually seeing these names. But yeah, I'm not going to include that. I'll just look at course history and grass stats. So that's where I'm going to pivot to now. So we obviously went through that. We do have shot shapes here. Don't worry, we'll get to that when we get to the course fit, like my best course fit plays. But let's go ahead and look at grass stats. So golfers who have the best Bermuda stats. Now, field average is 49.77. That is finishing place at Bermuda events. Best is 23. That belongs to Davis Thompson, who has one event under his belt. The next would be 26.71, and that's Webb Simpson. Max is 71.39. Let's see who that belongs to. It's probably Martin Traynor. It's Martin Traynor. Why? Oh, we actually have some late add-ons. So I might as well just put 85 as the worst. That's right. I did update this. So I put a lot of the spreadsheet together prior to adding the last guys here. So obviously this is going to be a different average. So we actually have 50.26. Which really, it should just be 50, but whatever. So 50.26, which means we have from here up 71 golfers that have a better Bermuda average than the field average. Again, Davis Thompson at the top. Webb Simpson is second. He has 59 events under his belt. Tommy Fleetwood is third. That is super interesting because Tommy Fleetwood did play well at the Masters last week, but had been pretty terrible prior to. Maybe now that he's on Bermuda, it's going to be a little helpful. Who knows? We'll see. Sung J M, also really good on Bermuda. So a lot of your high-priced guys right here, it makes sense, right? But then right under him is wily veterans Matt Kuchar and Henrik Stenson. 28.04 for Kuchar, 28.16 for Stenson. Both have a very good clip of finishing inside the top 10. Both of them have really bad recent form. I'm actually going to get rid of these stats here so we can just compare recent form right next to course fit. So you can see, you know, Henrik Stenson's coming in with a recent form average of 86.25. A scoring average is 71.19. Field average is 70.54. So he's almost a full stroke above it. Kuchar is right there at average, basically the scoring average. DK points, not terrible, but that also includes a couple no-cut events that he was just at, so he's going to accrue those points. His recent form average is not good either, 56.25. So both of those guys coming in with some pretty awful form. So really the grass stats might not be all that great. Let's see here. Maybe I should go with... I'm trying to find a better way to sort this and kind of get, you know, the most information I can possibly get to you guys. But I just looked at the time, 26 minutes. I kind of want to make this video a little short. So let's go ahead and just look at top 10 Bermuda percentage. Tommy Fleetwood is at the top. He has finished inside the top 10 more than any other golfer in this field. Let's see, the average is 10.48, believe it or not, for percentage inside the top 10. But you have Fleetwood, Rose, Simpson, Day, Sungjae, Kisner, Hatton, Stenson, Kuchar to round off. Well, Oosthuizen and those guys round off your top 10. Really, the best play the best salary play could be either Chappell or Luke Donald. They both finish inside the top 20 for Bermuda. I will say as long as I've been doing these types of, you know, preview or analysis videos, shows, you never really see more than, say, 6 golfers out of the top 20 in a grass stat do well. So if you're looking at these top 20 guys here, top 19, really try to figure out who your favorite play is, or, you know, maybe a handful of them, or maybe you just spread out your ownership and go with any of the guys up here. But I don't anticipate seeing more than 6 golfers inside the top 10 or even top 20 right on the screen now of the top 20 Bermuda golfers. So my thought is anchor some of your lineups with these guys. Obviously the high price guys like, say, Webb or Sungjae or even Tommy Fleetwood, and go from there. So to make this video as quick as possible, let's go ahead and get right into the best course fit plays. What I'm going to do is basically filter out field average. Anybody less than field average. So field average for this, I'm going to do this really quickly, really fast. Let's go course history, insert note, put that all right here, and then we can just update this really simple. 53.21 ends up being the field average. The minimum's 10, the maximum's 85. So minimum 10, 5. We'll just keep it like that. So basically, let's start here. Let's go ahead and get rid of course history. Anybody less than or equal to 53.21. It's going to get rid of a big chunk. So we're already down to 68 golfers. We're going to go field average less than this. So 50.26. Less than or equal to 50.26. And that is going to bring it down to 40 golfers. I thought we would actually see a little bit more. I'm actually going to keep everything as is. How can I go down a little bit more? Don't have scoring per grass stat. That will come eventually, but not right now. I guess we can go by Southeast. I really don't take this into account. Now I'm down to 25 golfers. Man, I thought we would see less. So 25 golfers. If we were just to go and filter by, you know, overall Bermuda, you see Davis Thompson up there, Webb Simpson, Matt Kuchar, Will Gordon, Ian Poulter, Kevin Kisner, Denny McCarthy, Zach Johnson, Austin Cook. You know what? I'm going to cheat a little bit. So course fit, I really just want to have basically all the golfers that, you know, fall under this with course history. We can look at last year. We can look at all of this stuff. But in all reality, I do want to incorporate how well someone's been playing. So I'm also going to now filter out by scoring average. So anyone less than 70.54. This should probably get rid of a lot of them. Yeah. So we have 13 golfers. And I think I can leave it at this. 13 golfers who, after all those filters, these are your survivors. You have Webb Simpson, Will Gordon, Ian Poulter, Denny McCarthy, Zach Johnson, Austin Cook, Doc Redman, Russell Knox, Corey Connors, Russell Henley, Matthew Naismith, Brian Harmon, and Stuart Sink. All different varying salaries. I think all of them could be in play. Now, if you were to tell me, if there's a shot shape that really matters, I'd say probably a draw. And then you just have these three golfers. I don't care for Zach Johnson, but maybe this is a reason you get on Zach Johnson. What about golfers who fade the golf ball? You have Ian Poulter and Doc Redman. So obviously I don't have, we have a golfer that has both. Who's that? Adam Hadwin? Brian Harmon. Does he really? I think he's more of a draw golfer for being a lefty, which means he'd be like, he'd be along with the fade golfers, but that's fine. Let me get rid of the Southeast thing because I don't even think it matters all that much. How many do we have still? So we have 19. Everyone you see on the screen right now. So basically who we're adding is Sungjae Im, Dylan Fratelli, Aaron Wise, Maverick McNeely, Scott Piercy, and Ches Reavie. So that's a pretty good nuclei of golfers, 19 of them. Obviously, I do a lot of stuff with the bucket system. You can see a bunch of different buckets here. You have your last year ones, you have your last year twos, last year threes, and two last year fours. So, maybe this is a way that you look right here. I will kind of dig into it a little bit more in my strategy video, which I will have out. I'm going to do it right after this one. So I'm going to upload this one. While this one's uploading, I'm going to go ahead, do a little research for that strategy video, and I'm going to try to get that out as quick as possible because you can already see the things that, basically are unique to the strategy are already populated. So I'm ready to go. It's just getting this video out first and then having that strategy video. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the strategy video shortly. All right, bye.